Hello, Mooresville Christian Academy. This is Nate Johnson. I am excited about joining you guys this week to continue our workshops on biblical permeation, and we're going to specifically focus on mathematics. However, if you do not teach mathematics, I do hope you're going to discover this to be extremely applicable, and I hope not just inspiring, but will lead you to worship. If you remember in our workshops in July, we established four overarching objectives that are driven by the mission of the school. And you can see them on the screen here. Students will desire, seek, and acquire truth that leads them to worship God cognitively, effectively, and volitionally. Second, that comes out of that. Out of desire to love others, students will seek out opportunities to serve their neighbors. Then specifically focus on academic objectives. Students engage into and take responsibility for their learning. And then fourthly, students are able to analyze, evaluate, apply, and transfer their learning to various contexts. And we found at the crux of these four objectives that the need to have students thinking critically on their own, the need for students not just to think of answers, but to be thinking of questions and essential questions, what we focused on. That in the classroom, we would lead students to discover what are overarching questions, and that those questions would be the common thread that goes throughout not just lessons, but units throughout the whole year, and from year to year, that students would begin to categorize and classify their knowledge and have a hunger to discover truths to feed the questions that they are asking. So in that heartbeat, here's our pathway for this week's workshops. We're going to discuss the formation of essential questions and their essential position to creating lifelong learners. We'll then treasure hunt threads of glory in math via essential questions, which focuses on these different objectives, overarching objectives. And we'll establish group activities motivated out of treasure hunting and not grade grubbing, incentivizing a collaborative environment with the goal of establishing mathematical application that positively serves our neighbors and civilization. So if you remember, last time we talked about the threads of glory, and we got the scriptural threads of creation, the fall and restoration. It began with God. God creates. He puts man over his creation. Man sins, which brings the fall, where the entire creation is in groaning, like in childbirth pains, and yet Christ comes to not just redeem, but to restore us. And then the other thread is threads in creation. We talked about 5 questions we could be asking according to all subject materials from the youngest grades to the oldest grades, so that when students leave as 8th graders, they are filtering everything they learn, they're filtering everything they watch, they're filtering their conversations, they're filtering their likes and dislikes through these 2 threads, the scriptural threads and the creation threads. So you are now about to start this pre-work, and really it's the goal is to get your mind around mathematics. What is it? What's your definition of it? What are mathematicians saying about it? What is the power that's encompassed in these studies of several mathematics? And how are we then going to transfer to create just a powerful framework of how do we get to know God more through math? So I'll leave you here with these are my goals to come out of this time. We will continue to ask better questions. We will apply what we know about math to prove God's existence and to worship specific characteristics about God, namely that He's ubiquitous, immutable, exceptionless, eternal, outside of time, independent of both the universe and the human mind, purposeful, ordered, truthful, mysterious yet understandable, and beautiful. While these are all clearly, specifically characteristics of God, these are also clearly and specifically characteristics of math, which we will discuss and reveal. Finally, we would want to apply what we learn about math to take it then and answer our creation mandate to subdue the world and using it by applying mathematical laws because the world is subject to these mathematical laws. I look forward to our time together.